Back here in Naples, Florida, we're hoping you're enjoying our live coverage here of the 2019 U.S. Open Pickleball Championships presented by Minto and powered by Margaritaville. Dave Benz, Melissa McCurley, and Mark Renison along with you as we are just about set to get this bronze medal match underway. It'll be Steve Dawson along with Chris Miller, both out of the Bobby Riggs Tennis Center in California, opposed by Scott Moore out of Colorado Springs and Steve Kennedy, who resides here in Florida. And it will be Moore Kennedy with the opening serve as we start 0-0-2.
As we get going, we were talking about the venue just before we went to break, and Minto Communities, we on Sunday used 8 courts and at the Minto community, and we had 58 courts that we ran on Sunday with 788 matches, 40 events that we ran that day. It was a historic day. We ran 3 tournament desks, so it was quite a day.
So we're going to see an interesting match here. Chris Miller wearing the white t-shirt and the yellow hat, and his partner Steve Dawson, who just hit that winning shot there. They're going to go with a third shot drive fairly often here, I think we can expect. Scott Moore likes that as well, and so we're not going to see quite as, I don't want to say passive play, because the drop isn't necessarily passive, but these are players who are looking to attack, especially Chris Miller, who loves hitting hard and does it very well.
And Dawson able to complete the point. And so an early 2-0 advantage here for Dawson and Miller. Mentioned Dawson out of the Bobby Riggs Tennis Club, as is Chris Miller's. Steve and his wife Jennifer, who is also an accomplished pickleball player, run that club and introduced pickleball to the tennis club.
Yeah, and Jennifer is a Triple Crown winner at the U.S. Open as well. She is here.
And she will be a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. One of the other things I just want to mention, in case any of the viewers are wondering, didn't we just see the gold medal match? And this is a bronze medal.
Yes.
So here at, oh, and what a great around the post there. Steve waited just at the right moment to get that around, and then there was nothing Scott could do. So here at the U.S. Open, there's a double elimination consolation format. So if you lose on the winner's side of the bracket, the best you can do is a bronze medal. You can't come all the way back and win a gold.
0-2-2. Melissa, I don't know if this applies in pickleball or not, but I would imagine that it would. There are some people who will tell you that they would rather win a bronze than a silver, because if you win the silver, that means you lost your last match. If you win a bronze, you won your last match, so at least you have that positive taste in your mouth.
I guess that is, you know, that's one way to look at it. In a world full of a lot of negatives, why not go for the positive?
See a nice forehand inside out shot there by Scott Moore. He really stepped around to the outside towards his backhand side and used that forehand to split the defense of Miller and Dawson.
And that is just long out of bounds by Scott Moore.
Chris Miller, of course, this is his first year in the senior category. I remember playing him in the pro division last year in doubles, and he's a tough competitor on the court. Quite an emotional player on the court. It'd be interesting to see. Steve Dawson really has a very calm presence on the court. Doesn't get riled up too much, and so it'd be interesting to see what sort of impact each one has on the other out here.
0-3-1. And that goes out, and it was fortuitous there because Steve Kennedy offered at it and was unable to get it.
Anita's asking a question about how many matches they had to play. Anita, you can actually go out and see the bracket at pickleballtournaments.com. Click the U.S. Open logo. Show events and brackets, and you'll be able to see not only how many matches, but who they played and what the scores were of those matches.
And again, if you are watching, please hit the share button. Let's get those views up as we Are happy to be bringing you this coverage. We will again have a live stream on Thursday and Friday from 2 to 6 Eastern.
Interesting. You saw there Scott Moore, after 3 or 4 dinks in a row using that one hand, he switched to the second hand. Earlier this week on the practice court, I was talking with Scott about that because when I played with him before, I haven't seen him do that, and he's really going to that second hand. He told me that he likes to use it to generate more power and also to sort of give his opponents a different look. So you'll see on a lot of these softer shots like he did there, where he used the one hand, and he will bring out that second hand to be able to apply more spin and sometimes more speed as well.
3-2-1. And now 3-2-2. Dawson will take over the serve.
Steve's happy to get that cheap point there. 4-2-2.
Miller showing off the hands at the net, and now Dawson getting involved. And hit back into the net there by Moore. So make it 5-2-2.
Oh, yeah, that was a great get by Chris, but then you're just out of the court. There's not really anything you can do.
It's a good cross-court angle volley that
moves it to 2-5-1. Today has been all about the men. Tomorrow will be about the ladies on our live stream.
Love watching Steve Kennedy out there. He's such a calm player. He always looks very deliberate when he's hitting these balls. Calm yet present. He's alert. You can see here, that's a high quality drop. Never seems to be too rushed.
And look at his focus too. You know, the ball's going to Scott, but yeah, he's ready when it's going to come to him.
Both sides showing some patience here now, waiting for the other to make a mistake, and it is Moore Kennedy that flinched first.
Yeah, that was the mistake.
It's been interesting here in one of those cross-court rallies between Dawson and Moore. Every time that the ball did, which was rare, but did get hit to Steve Kennedy, he went down the line with it. I'm wondering whether Dawson and Miller are going to recognize that, and next time they get into one of those patterns, anticipate the down-the-line shot that they can maybe intercept as an Ernie.
Move to 5-2-2. That one did just stay in bounds. And then Kennedy puts it away. So 2-5-1, the serve goes back over to Kennedy.
Scott Moore has such great touch. Look at those backhand dinks, how low and soft they sit. Someone that's very tough to play against because it makes you feel like you can just hit those balls again and again and again and again and again, and that really puts pressure on you to try to do more with the ball than perhaps you should. Consequently, you're looking at a few more errors or balls that he can then put away for a winner.
An error we just saw right there out of Dawson. But Dawson atones for it.
Yeah, it was a good misdirect. He made it the way he set up his body instead of his paddle. It looked like he was going cross-court. And then instead, he changed the direction, goes down the line for a winner.
3-5-2. And now the serve will change sides. Five, 3-1. We mentioned this earlier in our stream, although I would imagine we probably have a relatively new audience. The volunteers who helped make this tournament possible deserve a shout out. 500 volunteers. They will log, by the time this week is over, they will have logged 10,000 combined hours to put on this event, which features 2,200 players from 46 states and 17 countries.
Yeah, and what a fantastic group of volunteers they are. Many of the leads, captains are back from prior years, so their leadership just keeps getting better and better. I know over the week, I can tell you the volunteers I have supporting us in the tournament dress, some of the finest you could ever work with. We'll run over 4,300 matches this week. they're running, I mean, we got a match going on here, but we literally have all courts still full out around us, the 50 courts that are here. And they're just doing an outstanding job.
And these courts, by the way, they are in operations all year round, not just during the tournament, and they are full all year round.
I asked Jim Ludwig, who is the event director for this event and does a lot of work with the courts here, how many people play here a day. He said about 375 to 400 people playing here every day.
We've seen a couple times now that Moore and Kennedy have lobbed the ball high over Chris Miller. Twice they've been successful at it, getting it past him. We're going to see if that's a strategy they keep trying to work on as they try to claw their way back in this match.
3-6-2.
So we see Steve Kennedy and Scott Moore stacking, Mark. What do you think? What do you think their strategy is around doing that? You don't often see that in men's doubles, so that's why the question.
Yeah, I think so. Stacking for people who might be new to it is when you set up your team with both players on the same side of the court. As you're going to see here, we're choosing not to stack on the return of serve. It's a way to ensure that you get to play on the side that you prefer. And so Moore prefers to play on the left-hand side and Steve Kennedy on the right. And so when they're serving, what they'll do is they'll stand side by side, and then that way after the serve gets hit, they can play on their preferred side for the rest of the point.
Now 7-3-1 as Dawson and Miller inch closer to taking this first game of this bronze medal match.
We are playing best 2 out of 3.
Yes, we are.
Each game, you have to win by 2.
It's a good counterattack shot there by Miller. Kennedy was going hard at his backhand, and instead of defending against it, he went hard back, catching Moore off guard, taking the point.
Dawson unable to handle that, mishits it.
I can't hear the director. I can now. He came out.
8-3-2 as Miller with the serve.
Yeah, and you don't see Scott make many errors like that.
9-3-2, and you wonder if Moore and Kennedy might be thinking about taking a timeout here. Instead, Dawson hits it wide.
So you're likely to see here with Scott Moore serving from the right side, you're likely to see him use his backhand serve. He nearly always serves with his backhand serve, but just on the right-hand side of the court. Here it comes. He's got that little bit of an inside-out spin. There's that lob again.
Oh, it was an excellent lob. It's just it's a little bit windy in here.
You can't go to that well too often. The lob is risky, a little too far and it's out, a little too short and you're getting punished for it. So they've been successful twice so far. I guess we can call them up 2-1 when it comes to the lob game.
Are you not a fan of the lob?
And that's long and out, so 4-9-2.
I'm a fan of the lob if it works.
You're a fan of anything if it works.
I'm going to say that's well.
I'm a
answered.
pragmatist. I mean, and when we do our pickleball clinics around North America for Third Shot Sports, this is something that regularly comes up that we talk about. And there's certain orthodoxies and certain ways of thinking about pickleball traditionally that maybe are worth challenging a little bit. And so I think I'm open to playing in different ways, but the question is what you're doing working? And I'd say so far, Moore and Kennedy, on the lob front at least, so far it's working more often than it's not.
10-4-1 now. This is game point, and that's the game. As Moore hits it into the net, and game 1 will go in favor of Dawson Miller. They win it 11-4.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah, and it wasn't necessarily, that wasn't a bad decision really by Scott.
Yeah, it was an execution error, and that little bit of wind made it tough to put that away.
Game 2 coming your way after a brief timeout here from Naples. Back here in Naples, Florida, the 2019 Minto U.S. Open Pickleball Championships.
And we're back here for game 2.
Game 2 underway.
Yeah, we had Dawson and Miller winning game 1, 11-4.
0-0-1.
Sun is going to be a little bit of a factor at this time of day. You can see when Moore and Kennedy are at the baseline serving, you're going to see here that the light's coming through the sunshade just in such a way that that's getting them in the face as they're at the baseline. Now, they're not going to spend a lot of time back there, but coming through these shadows might be a little bit tricky.
And I think here, I mean, the only difference I can really see is really just execution as far as what needs to happen here in game 2 for Scott and Steve to be able to win it.
Jack Milton pointing out on our live stream, this is the 5th match today for Moore Kennedy, the 7th for Dawson Miller in the division. It's a lot of matches to play.
It's a lot of matches, and then maybe some folks who have seen this that aren't involved in pickleball are interested in watching. And the matches are played out all in one day, so the conditioning certainly and strength comes into play here when you're playing a big pickleball tournament.
So the first point of the game goes in favor of Dawson and Miller. Dawson decides to lay off, and it's a good decision.
Yeah, Scott's real frustrated with that, so that's what we're talking about. Just you know, a couple of those, and these games will quickly get away from you. Scott knows it. You could see that in his reaction, and he's a warrior, a real warrior. So we'll, yeah, see, he comes right back with that. So if he keeps that up, we could definitely see a difference in game number 2.
So 0-2-1.
That's twice in a row now. I was wondering if it's going to happen again, where Chris Miller went fast at Kennedy off the dink. A flick, we sometimes call that. And twice in a row now, he's been rewarded for it. So let's see if Miller looks to use that again. Here's an opportunity for it. Let's see.
Oh, off the net, and that stayed in.
Yeah, it sure did.
Moore goes for one of his own, and clipping off the net makes it virtually impossible to defend against.
I think he was going for his chest either way.
One, two, two.
There it is again. That's 3. So this now, you can see that Miller's pretty content working this pattern. What I expect is that you're going to see, you see a little switch here. We've got Kennedy now on the left side. It's going to be harder for Miller to hit that ball and cause as much trouble because now it's got to go cross court.
How about that?
Yeah, little net love back for Steve Dawson.
Certainly take those when you can get them.
That was a really, really nice scoop by Chris Miller, dropping it back into the kitchen and allowing them to be able to get back or get up to the line.
How about the extension there by Miller?
Really nice. He's showing his all-around game right now. Yeah, and that ball just got up just a little bit on Steve, and then
nothing he could do with it.
No, you could see that then Steve Dawson was able to just kind of flick it right into the chest of Scott Moore.
So 4-1-1. Dawson and Miller starting to build a little bit of a lead. Already up 1-0. Moore had to balance himself to not go into the kitchen. And then the unforced error there by Chris Miller. Are you kidding me?
That's what Scott's got to be thinking. Are you kidding me? That's twice. Let's catch a break here.
Interesting choices here. The last 2 points after that third shot drop was hit by Miller. Both Kennedy and Moore backed up to let the ball bounce instead of taking it out of the air. I think what they're hoping for is that the ball bounces up high enough that they can actually attack it. But Scott does too much with it there.
Nice return there by Moore as he hit it in a spot that was going to be difficult for Dawson.
He leaned into that one really nicely, put it right at his feet.
1-6-1. Moore and Kennedy needing to put together a sustained rally, and instead Dawson just sticks a spear into their hearts. 1-6-2 now.
Look for the flick coming here soon.
That time the net does not work out in Steve Dawson's favor.
I was fielding that build up to the flick too, Mark. I was waiting, I was waiting. And the flicks are very effective because you're hitting it at the chest and the body. You just can't get your arms in that position.
Serve going back over to Dawson Miller with the 6-2 lead.
Another assist from the net there. Sometimes the ball just rolls your way.
How much do you think they paid the net? This has certainly been one-sided in their favor on the net.
Oh.
Until now.
Thinking that Miller regrets moving to his right to play a backhand on that ball instead of moving to his left where he could have played a forehand and had a slightly easier angle.
Hello to Andy Timmons from Illinois.
I'm still waiting for Rhode Island to come into the house here.
Have we seen Mississippi?
Oh, and Mississippi. That's right. We got Rhode Island and Mississippi that have not joined us yet. Nebraska and North Dakota did.
Oh, how about that put away there by Chris Miller?
Yeah.
Miller's interesting in his technique. It's sort of different than what you see from the other players. He rarely touches the paddle with his left hand, and you'll see other players in between shots at least support the paddle with their left hand, whereas Miller's almost never touches it.
Oh, nice scoop by Scott Moore.
Really was.
You've seen a lot of patience here.
Who's going to flinch first?
No, all four players doing a really good job of moving the ball around. And did that go long?
I don't know if it did. I thought it stayed in.
No, I think it went long.
It did go long.
I think Miller was wondering whether it caught the shirt of Moore. Looks like it didn't. And here you're going to see that backhand serve from Moore.
So 3-6-2 after a very long exchange on that point.
Oh, yeah, and that's just tough. And you see that Chris did a really good job, right? Steve was trying to move in. He was still moving. He kept him back, just pushed it right back at his feet.
I think Moore is telling Kennedy right now that that was his fault. He let that ball sit up a little bit too high and had a bit lower. Miller couldn't have hit it with so much speed and would have been a little easier to handle.
Yeah. Oh.
Great job by Dawson to cover the ground to get there, but an even better job there by Kennedy.
Yeah, Miller has to come across there and cover the middle. Dawson was up by the referee, and the obvious play is to the open court here. You see Miller stay still in the middle.
Yeah, Kennedy was just eating it up, played Dawson like a string there. And then the net is not the friend again for Moore Kennedy.
Yeah, Miller redeems himself there. That was a great forehand drive volley.
We'll still give him a hard time about taking a nap on that last one.
7-3-2, 4 points away from a bronze medal for Dawson Miller. And that goes long.
It's a good deep serve.
Oh, how about that dig by Dawson? But Moore is just ferocious on that exchange.
You know, I think that's the kind of play that we're going to need to see from Moore and Kennedy. He goes for a little bit more on the serve. He gets the short reply. That sets up an opportunity to use the third shot drive and really dictate control of the point. It's not going so well for them when they get into these longer, slower, dinking rallies. And so if Moore and Kennedy want to make a push here, I think going with the fast game a little bit might be in their favor.
Let's see if they hear you.
We'll see.
Stacy DeBrawl, Weiner from Wisconsin checking in. Jeff Locknow, Arkansas. Jack Berry from Colorado. Thanks, guys.
North Carolina checked in with us as well.
Had a lot of international viewers earlier in the day. And Kennedy unable to handle that. So the gap closing now is 5-7-1.
But so much depends on the serve and the return of serve. If Scott can get it deep here, let's see how close it lands to the baseline. If it does, it's more likely to be short. That's not a deep enough serve, and so it's going to be a quality return. And yeah,
and Dawson hits it right into Moore.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about there. It's like you get that deep serve, and it's harder to get that deeper return.
Yeah, especially if you get it deep off of speed. And so a couple points ago, we saw a very deep serve from Moore, which led to a return that barely landed past the kitchen.
I think Dawson threw off the timing there of Kennedy by Kennedy was expecting it to be another dink, and instead he went right for it. So 7-5-1. Nice concentration there by Kennedy to stay with it.
Of course, it's easy when you're in the booth here to say just hit your serve deeper. Of course, the deeper that you hit it, the more risk you incur, because now it's getting close to that sideline. So it really is a risk-reward calculation you got to make.
Oh, yeah, no, we're definitely very good from over here.
We haven't hit one out yet.
No, we haven't.
8-5-2.
Well, Vermont, Montana, Pennsylvania, all checking in. Oh, Ocean Pines, Maryland. Welcome, you guys. Bronze medal senior pro match.
Wow, what a great exchange there.
Oh, goodness.
This is turning out to be a heck of a point. Whoever wins this.
Oh,
are you kidding?
Fired up.
Wow. That's what it takes to win here in Naples. You needed a little luck to go along with the extreme skill.
And here it is again.
And you had both on that exchange. 9-5-2, 2 points away from bronze.
Got some comments about Steve Dawson's footwork. He does have some nice footwork.
He's a great mover on the court. I love watching Steve move. So deliberate, so intentional. Sets up a match point here.
It sure does. Miller attacking Moore, and it pays dividends. Miller and Dawson have just struck bronze here in Naples. They win at 11-4, 11-5 over Scott Moore and Steve Kennedy. And we are going to hear from the bronze medal winners coming up in just a few minutes. We'll take a quick timeout. Stay with us here from Naples.
Hard-fought day, great action, guys. Congratulations coming out, Chris Miller and Steve Dawson. Round of applause for our medal champs here. The bronze medal, you guys. You're out here. It's been a long, hard-fought day. You had to kind of go through that back. You're out here. You're on Zing Zang Championship court. How you feeling? What's this mean?
It feels wonderful, of course, and this, I want to say, is my first time playing with Miller. I've been waiting for a couple years for him to move up into the old man's group, and he's finally here. A long day, and I want to thank Chris for playing with me and thank the U.S. Open for having us.
Yeah, well, thank you. And you are a veteran. You've been playing pickleball a long time, Chris. Yeah. And to see here to grow the sport, you saw the sport very different than this. What does it mean to be on this court playing here?
That I'm still playing as much as I've been diving over the years. Yeah, I get abused on this just by the cement and the gym floors. But it's been great. I love playing with Steve. We had a great time. It was a long day, and it was a great day. I don't know. I just had a blast today.
Well, I have a Chris Miller story. He's been here for 4 days. He was in the hospital one day, sliced his finger open the first day he got here. And I'm like, come on, Chris, I came all the way here to play with you. 2 nights ago, he was throwing up. He had his head in the toilet all night. I didn't even know if I was going to play with him today. And somehow he did it in Miller's style and made his way through.
Yeah, known to be a fighter, and now you guys both got medals around your neck. Congratulations. Round of applause, everybody.